I have for you today the Kowoee E8 Pro electric scooter, and as always we're going to review it from the unique perspective of someone who might be using it for touring or backpacking. We'll do a quick unboxing, go over the specs, do a range test as a heavier rider, and talk about how best to actually use this thing for adventuring. And thank you to Kowoee for sending me this out. For this price point, I would actually say that this electric scooter is pretty competent. All I'm really looking for is to feel safe and stable while I'm riding it, and to have reasonable power to get up hills for someone of my weight. And I would say that mostly it delivers. Now, it's really hard to fault it for any shortcomings because it's such an inexpensive scooter, but if I had to pick two things to focus on for the negatives, it would definitely be the range and the ride quality. Like most electric scooters in its class, it comes in a really wide but thin box. You get the scooter itself, which is actually mostly already assembled, but do be careful, the handlebars are loose and only connected to the stem with a couple of cables. Don't pull on it too hard or you might detach them. It has the manual in there, and a bubble mailer is attached to the deck with a heavy-duty zip tie, which contains everything else, an Allen key and the bolts needed to complete assembly, the kickstand, and a small 1.5 amp charger. Finishing assembly is actually super easy. I didn't even need to read the manual. All the screws are the same. Use 2 to mount the kickstand to the side and 6 to mount the handlebars to the stem. And that's it. You're basically good to go other than downloading their app and pairing it to the scooter, which is also pretty easy and detailed in the manual. It has a 281 watt hour 36 volt battery that claims a low end range of 27 kilometers. No. It's got 8.5-inch wheels with a rear drive 500 watt hub motor. The wheels are solid instead of pneumatic, which trades ride comfort for eliminating flat tires. It's got dual braking mechanisms operated by a single lever, front drum brake and rear EABS. Like most electric scooters of its type, it folds down so you can carry it around as needed. It has a thumb throttle, and you can actually triple click the power button to swap between metric and imperial, which I find to be really neat. And the whole scooter weighs 37 pounds. All right, so enough foreplay. Let's actually take this thing out for a test ride. Range test, top speed test, hill climb test, all the fun stuff. A couple things to keep in mind. Number one, I'm a very heavy rider. I'm in the neighborhood of 250 pounds. And the second is that it's a little cold out today. It's right around freezing. Let's see. We are already down 4% on the battery, so I am not overly optimistic about the range of this thing. A little bit of off-roading here. Whoa, yeah, we're fishtailing a little. All right, this nice freshly paved bike trail that's right outside my apartment. Oh, there we go. And you know what? Even on eco mode, this actually has some pretty decent speed. It's not too slow. One thing I was worried about is that because this has airless tires, I was worried that the ride quality was gonna kind of suck, but so far it's actually a little smoother than what I was expecting. This is right on that threshold of what's actually a decent cruising speed. I'll check my GPS and we'll see just how fast we're going at eco speed here. We've gone 0.87 kilometers and we are already down to 84%. Oh boy. Top speed 14.43 kilometers an hour. So I just rode over that. I take back what I said. You really feel stuff like that on this. My teeth were basically chattering in my mouth. Oh man, that is probably the harshest ride quality I've had on any electric rideable I've ridden yet, including any of my electric skateboards. So normally I like to go through all the different speed modes, but because we have such limited battery, we're already burning pretty deep into the charge here. I want to do my top speed run already, so we're going to kick it right into sport and skipping the middle ground. And it's really hard to see this screen outside with my sunglasses on, and it's not even super bright out. You can see it's a little bit gray. Anyways, top speed run, let's do this. I'm not noticing any higher pep in its step. It'll probably just have a higher speed, but we're going. We already feel topped out. I don't feel like we're going terribly fast here, and we've only got the one brake lever, so braking test. All right, braking in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Our top speed run, we hit a maximum speed of 19.79 kilometers an hour. We've done 2.19 kilometers so far on the ride, and we are down to 75%. I do like that it lets you granularly track what your battery level is. Whenever it's just like bars of battery and it doesn't let you see exactly how much you're at, I really don't like that. I like to know how much juice I got left. For the rest of this range test, we will be riding this thing in eco mode in order to eke out as much range as possible. You know, I'm not trying to fluff the numbers or anything like that, but realistically, when I'm actually riding the scooter around, eco will be what I'm riding it on. So this is the first of 2 hills that I like to do for hill climb tests. So I'm going to keep it in eco mode, and it's a 500 watt motor. It should get me up there, and I'll probably only drop speed a little bit. So let's find out. Hard to tell on the GoPro, but we're about 4 or 5 meters above. Oh, we're dropping down. Oh man, we slowed down to an absolute crawl there. Over the bridge. This is a fairly steep and tall hill here, so I don't think eco mode will make it up. So we're gonna bump it all the way up into sport. So drive, sport. Let's see if we can tackle this hill. Approaching the base of the hill now. Starting to incline, really starting to incline. Steepest part of the hill. Yeah, we're slowing down. Oh, I don't know if we're actually gonna make it up this. Oh, it's struggling. It's struggling. I'm full throttle on sport mode here. I'm giving her everything she's got. Oh, we just barely pulled up to the top. All right, we've crested it. Over the brick. Yeah, you feel that. Oh, and that bump. Some more brick. Yeah, you feel that. Oh yeah, you really feel that. Oh, you feel every bump you go over. One cool feature I actually really appreciate with this design is that the bell, that's what this is here, is actually integrated with the brake lever. So it's not taking up space on the handlebar if I want to put a phone mount and something else on here. And it's mechanical. For some reason, this part of the paved bike trail is a dirt-covered gravelly mess. I don't know why it's all covered in dirt, but we're gonna ride it, and we're gonna see how that feels on this thing. So I didn't really feel that too much. You could feel a little bit of the texture riding over it, but it wasn't like super bumpy or anything like that. We're at 46%, and we have gone 5.59 kilometers. I'm gonna guess we'll comfortably hit 10 kilometers. All right, let's ride this thing dry. Wheels are getting nice and muddy. You can see that the mud's actually getting into the cutouts. All right, we're coming back up on that gravel road. So let's listen in. Oh, yeah, I don't know if you could hear that vibration. Oh yeah, she's very vibrating. Yeah, you could definitely feel that it's losing torque now that's at the low end of the battery here. So we hit 13.13 kilometers. That's our practical zero here. According to the app, we still technically have 9% battery left, but just like I was worried about, once it gets down to a certain level, it practically doesn't have enough power output to actually push you forward at any reasonable speed. I do want to take into consideration that this scooter isn't the most expensive one, and so my expectations are scaled appropriately, but there are a few things that I think could still be dealt with. For one, as you saw in that ride quality, it is not great. It's fine if you're on really smooth paved trails, but any sort of ground texture and you will feel it. The range was subpar. I mean, I never expect to hit the advertised range numbers just because I'm so heavy, but 13 kilometers really falls short when you consider I was in eco mode on smooth paved trail for 90% of that test ride. And on top of that, once you hit about 10% stated capacity, the battery's practically useless. Treat 10% as your actual bottom of the pack, and even just dipping below 20%, the sag is really, really noticeable. So that's the negatives out of the way. Here's the things that I actually think the scooter has going for it. The build quality actually seems better than I was expecting, honestly. You know, I wouldn't recommend wrenching on the stem and being super rough with this thing. The 500 watt motor is actually really good. It struggles a bit with my weight on bigger hills, but it otherwise gets the job done. I actually really love the grips on the handlebars. I mean, yeah, they're rough on your hands, but I love harsh grip like this. It's the best grips on any electric rideable I've ever ridden. No joke. Those grips are like Velcro to your hand, man. So like I said, I evaluate all of these electric rideables as a potential adventuring platform. So obviously as an entry-level electric scooter with a really small battery, it's kind of gimped from the get-go when it comes to this. This thing is solidly a 10-kilometer range scooter, meaning you can expect to go that far in between potential charging stops. I'd say you'd want to stick to mostly urban corridors where charging opportunities are very frequent. The 4 to 5 hour charging time from that included 1.5 amp charger, it just doesn't cut it. It takes way too long to charge. If you're new to the channel, we're all about unconventional electric adventuring, including evaluating scooters as potential adventuring platforms. So make sure you're subscribed if you're into that shit.